Hi, I'm Liberty Worth and I'm a textile artist making paintings from fabric. This is my series behind me that I'm currently mid-process. Some of them are finished, some of them are not, and I have in this exhibition a number of the pieces that are part of this larger series. My inspiration for this series comes from the actual pattern process that I call making a noisy flower. I'm highly inspired by nature and just the beautiful, infinite types of beauty that we can find there. They're not necessarily flowers. I think sometimes I call them fabric mosaics or oculus or vortexes, I've been told. My goal is to create something that causes people to stop and think and maybe gives them a place to meditate. I really believe in the healing power of art, and I'm excited to share a little bit more about my process with you. What you can see here are two of my very first noisy flowers. This one is in our exhibition and it's called Clarity. I think it does touch, however, on the idea of isolation and being alone. When I first was making these, they really stood alone, and there were some color groupings, but generally speaking, they were fully contained. You can see that they are mounted on board and they're fully contained on that panel board. As I decided to expand, and really what I've been doing a lot of time during quarantine as I'm making this art, I've decided to make this series of many of them that speak together as a family and a community, or a garden, if you will, of what I'm doing. One interesting turn my work has taken during this season of isolation, really, and quietude, is I have found that I really want the work to expand, and it's been blooming off of the edges of the panels. I think this is telling, considering how much we're all longing to see things that are growing and healthy right now. I think there's definitely something to be said for the fact that what I'm using is a process that is a traditional quilt style that is being modified to become this modern art. And in this season where we've had this illness affecting all of us, I've actually been called on to make masks, and that has taken up a huge amount of my time. I've spent hours and hours making almost 1,000 masks now, many of which have been donated to essential workers and Indian tribes and very vulnerable people groups. When I think about the way my sewing can be used for either art or for being a part of the healing of our world, I kind of hope that it comes together in my art. I recently made this one piece that to me feels like it's trying to bring all of it together. So this is my mask style, but I made one of my noisy flowers in it. I think it really touches on the idea that we are all needing to find beauty and healing in this. History will always tie together what's happening with the coronavirus and the unrest in our country. Though I'm expressing what I can for hope and joy and life and growth through these greens and yellows and blues, I also have spent a little bit of time working through some of my cultural grief as well, and really trying to process what does it look like to be healed as a nation in America, and what does that look like for us to see each other. These are things that I'm processing as I make my work, and I don't know that I'm ever going to get to the place where I can fully express it, but I am excited that art has been the place that I can contain these questions. When I began making these pieces, I was just using straight fabric. And then as I've developed my process, I've been integrated things that different artists have discarded. This is some paper from a dyeing project. It looks like fabric, but it's paper. And in here you can see what I'm doing currently, which is taking even the tiniest scraps of things and sewing them back into new fabric. So I am really working at using things that were seemingly worthless and bringing honor and beauty to them. I really do believe that art is a part of our healing. It's been a huge part of my healing in different broken places, and I feel like art is one of those things that always can contain the pain that we hold. I really hope that when people look at my art, they're able to feel that connection and the sense of always looking for beauty, even in discarded things and things that looked like they were beyond use before. The joy that I find of taking little bits and pieces and putting them all together and making something that feels whole and complete, and like in this case, very much growing, is what keeps me motivated to make more art. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this exhibition and to have the chance to share this work with you today. Thanks for watching.